All right, welcome to the Canine Oasis podcast. I'm Jonathan. I will be the host. Um, I decided to just kind of get this started, even though um, I'm a perfectionist and I'd like to have everything figured out, and I don't. I wish video quality was better, but I don't know. There's wisdom in just doing, and this has been on my mind a lot lately, and I really wanted to get it going. So the first few episodes are probably going to be just me talking, sharing the vision of what I'm doing and why. And then I want to start bringing in guests from all different walks of the dog service life. And the whole goal here is to help save dogs from shelters and keep them from having to be euthanized. So I think there's a lot to be said by rescue efforts, shelter workers, trainers of different styles of training, as well as um, like specialty training, scent work and agility, fly ball, duck diving, protection, bite work, stuff like that. I think that dogs, whether it's their breed or their personality, tend to have a drive, kind of something in them, and the more we can safely and ethically tap into that drive for them, I think the more fulfilled and happy that dog's going to be. It makes for a better relationship with the owner. It helps with reactivity, anxiety, and stuff like that. So I want to help people have a better experience with their dog and help dogs in general. So that's what we're all about. I am currently a nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 20 years. Growing up, the first thing I could remember wanting to do is to be a veterinarian, but we had a cat growing up that was just playing around outside, jumped out from behind a tree right into the path of a poor kid who was riding his bike somewhere, and he ran her over, caused significant internal bleeding, and we had to go take her to get put down, which was very traumatic for especially us kids. And that kind of put the stops on that dream. I didn't want to have to be a guy who was putting animals down. And I don't know if it's from that experience or what, but I still struggle with the idea of euthanasia. And I know there's a time and place for it, but I worry that it gets utilized a bit too much for population control and convenience and things like that. So I'd like to reverse that trend a bit if we can. So growing up, I had animals of all kinds, birds. Um, I had a pet crawdad for a while. I had frogs and toads and fish of all kinds, snakes, lizards. Had a dog growing up, a Bandit. He was a half German Shepherd, half Sheltie. I just cringe looking back on that because I didn't know. I didn't train him well. And to have that dog now, he was so smart. He would be really fun knowing what I know now. But he was a good dog and just had a love of animals. And as I grew up and life happens, got married. My wife is not an animal person. So I guess it was kind of easy at a time where I didn't have animals to just kind of shut that part of myself off. And so we didn't have animals for many years. We tried having a dog once. It's kind of for my son, but I got a little too involved in that process. Didn't work out great at the time. And so he ended up on a friend's parents' ranch out in the desert, having a great time. And so at least he ended up in a great place for him. But still had that part of myself kind of just turned off and almost a mild aversion to animals, really, when I think about it. And I think that was probably subconsciously recognizing that there was this huge love and potential in myself that I didn't want to get invested in because of the culture in our home at the time. And so going about life through the years, I've developed some struggles with mental health, anxiety, and depression. And it was during a pretty significant bout with that there's some discussion in the home, some disagreement about how it went out, but the way I remember it is that my wife said, maybe you should look at getting a dog. And so, don't need to tell me twice. I started looking around, and for me, the perfect dog ever since I was a kid was a chocolate lab. So that's what I looked for. Found a breeder close by, connected with, and had a conversation. And they had a dog who somebody had purchased, and I still don't know the full reasons why, but they had to return him to the breeder. They may have moved and couldn't take him with them or something. I'm not sure. So he was a few months old when I got him, and brought him home. And lo and behold, this huge part of my heart has been unlocked, and this passion's been reignited. Intense love for dogs and a desire to be involved and help out. So some old bad habits from being a kid and not really knowing about training and stuff probably kicked in, and I wasn't doing a great job training him, and was just kind of frustrated. Wanted a better relationship with him, and for him to be able to interact more appropriately with other people. He's quite dog and people reactive just because of his sociable nature, not anything aggressive, but it definitely hinders his manners, and so I wanted to work on that. Hired a dog trainer here locally who came to the house and worked with us and had some amazing results, and I found a joy in working with him. And so tend to do a walk and or training at least every morning and night, and I've really enjoyed that and connecting with him and seeing him improve and become a safer dog. So we'll probably share some more examples or experiences, of things that have happened with him along the way. A couple of times where he got pretty sick and scared me, and how that worked out. But probably not for today. Just, I guess, through the adventure of having a dog in Arizona in the Phoenix area in the summer heat. I did have one experience where he liked to go to the dog park. He loves all the smells, and I'm now somewhat averse to public dog parks because of the health and safety issues that can occur there. And but at the time, he liked it, and I felt like it was a good way to get him some exercise and decompress. So took him to a dog park, and really wanted to work on his manners because he would just go nuts when we got there, and he could smell the smells. And I was demanding that he sat down, and you could see he was kind of trying, but I thought he was just too excited and disobedient. And I was getting frustrated and telling him over and over to sit. And all of a sudden it dawned on me that it was 100 degrees out, and he was on the pavement, and it was burning his feet and uncomfortable on his bum when he sat down, and that's why he was having a hard time. So immediately I scooped him up and ran into the grassy area and checked his paws and made sure they weren't burnt. And it felt horrible, but that was a big wake up call for me for just how intense the heat is for them, not just temperature wise, which obviously with not sweating and having fur is pretty rough, but also off of the ground, just how hot the asphalt in particular can get easily up to 140, 150 degrees here. So that started me thinking while I was sitting at the dog park and no one else was there, because who in their right mind goes out to play in the heat when it's 100 degrees out with their dog? But I wanted an option, somewhere to play with him during the summer to get some of that energy out. And I started thinking, that I wish somebody had a place like that with air conditioning and inside away from the sun where we could play and socialize appropriately and things like that. So it was just kind of a hope for a lot of years, not a lot too, having them for about 2 years, and had an experience at work that made me realize I don't want to retire from healthcare. I guess more accurately, I don't want to work until retirement age in healthcare. It's there's a lot of things in the culture and the corporate pressure that I don't like. I wish it was more like when I started 20 years ago, much more focused on taking care of people and doing what's right for the patient. And there's a lot of reasons it's shifted away from that, and I just don't love it. That part of it. I love a lot of things about nursing, and current job is in cardiac focus, and I love the heart, and it's super interesting to me, and I get to do some fun stuff. But it pushed me to explore other options. And from deciding that I wanted to do something with dogs, within a week and a half, I ended up meeting insurance people, real estate people, um, entrepreneurs, people who kind of fed into that dream and met me where I was at and encouraged it, and ultimately led me to a business consultant that I sat down with and had a chat. And he shared some of his experiences helping businesses of all sizes get started. And so I hired him, and he's helped me navigate the parts of this experience that I'm not familiar with. And it's been a lot of learning and a lot of growth, a lot of trial, a lot of stepping out of my comfort zone, but it's been good and it's exciting. And so we're still refining the business plan a bit, from our initial model. Certain things I think we need to tweak to make sure that our numbers line up with what the reality of our location is going to be. But got a refreshed listing of real estate that we're going to go look at soon, and about 5 different locations that we were interested in, and see how they'll work out and what size of an area we actually get, so we can start making plans. And the dream is to have play areas for large dogs, small dogs, and then also to have daycare and boarding available. And then I want to bring in trainers, whether that's positive reinforcement folks or balanced folks. I want kind of like the gambit of training styles to be represented there, so that people can get the help that they relate with the best and that they find helps their dog the best. And I recently learned about flyball. And so I think it'd be really awesome to have like a flyball league, an agility league, do competitions, or even just like demonstrations about obedience and stuff like that. Not super interested in like bite work or protection work because of the liability with that, but maybe that could open up in the future. I do have a lot of respect for those dogs and their handlers. It's pretty impressive, the stuff they can do. So maybe in the future, as I get more experienced and form some connections. But yeah, I want to contract with like trainers to come in and do those, mobile groomers to come in, and depending on the location and the plumbing available, to have some like self-wash stations and stuff like that. And seminars. I want to do like Saturday special events where people come in and teach and just add value to our community, about a variety of different issues. I got a whole list that I'm interested in, and I'm sure others are going to come up along the way. And if anybody listening to this has an idea, please reach out and give me an idea. We'd love to meet people where their interests lie. So we're working on that. As I've been networking, I've come across the idea of mobile dog gyms and decided that that fits very well with the purpose and the inspiration behind the Canine Oasis, to have an air-conditioned van that can go out and help people's dogs get the exercise they need in a safe environment. And as I've networked with people who do that and seen examples of different dogs, a lot of them do work at shelters where they volunteer, and there's so much stress. So dogs that can present as aggressive or very fearful, and it makes it hard for people to be inspired to adopt them. And a lot of times it's just because of how stressful this scary environment, being cooped up in a little kennel, so much loud barking and noise and things like that, people walking by and looking at you, and just the uncertainty and fear that must exist for them. And to be able to give them an opportunity to go out to the van, it's air conditioned, it gets them away from all the noise, and they get to just kind of run out some of that pent up energy and anxiety. So I love that aspect of it. And I love seeing the transition from so many dogs that get on the slat mill. They don't know how it works. They're kind of fearful. And then as they figure it out, to just see this transformation occur where their confidence grows and they begin to run, and just, I mean, everything from their posture to the expression on their face, and you just see joy and this release of anxiety and stress. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'm currently working on finding a van and getting that converted and putting some slat mills in it so we can add a mobile dog gym to our offerings. So a lot of exciting stuff going on. Got my dog Chongo. He's a chocolate lab. He's the reason all of this is going on, and would love to, I don't know, create a nonprofit in association with the business to help fund rescues. Currently have applications into a rescue in the Phoenix area, the county shelter. They've accepted it. The county shelter has anyways. They've accepted my application, but they're revamping the training and onboarding process. So as soon as that's up and running, they should get back in touch with me. And I've gone out once to help clean kennels with a local dog rescue, and had a lot of fun with that. It's very rewarding to just serve and give back. There's animals that just can't do certain things for themselves. And to me, it's inspiring to interact with people who sacrifice so much of their time and energy and finances to help them, and to be able to pitch in and help those people as well as the dogs, just kind of, I don't know, gives me a good feeling in my heart. So want to do more of that. Would love to be able to do fundraising and throw some money at good organizations. But the more I've progressed in this, the more I've learned that there's so much to learn. They say the more you know you don't know. And that's definitely been true in this journey. So just wanted to do an introduction. We're about 17 minutes in. Getting tired of just talking. So I will be glad when I get to the point to have some guests lined up to talk, because I like hearing other people more than I like hearing myself. So anyways, if you listen to the end, just know that I appreciate you. I love the dog community. I think we could do a lot better in being cohesive and really putting our ideology and egos aside to focus on the benefit of the dogs. And that's going to be a big theme here. There's a influencer, and I guess you'd call him a serial entrepreneur, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks a lot about how so much of the world is red and blue, that people kind of form these binary camps and they vilify the person in the other camp. And big example of that in America is Republicans and Democrats. And, there's just so much hypocrisy between the groups, and anger and vitriol. And there's just, it doesn't do anything good for the world. And so he says, in a world of red and blue, be purple. So that's going to be one of my slogans here, one of my mottos. In a world of red and blue, be purple. Come together and do it for the things that are good and that we're passionate about. And in this case, if you're here, it's probably because you love dogs. And so hopefully we can work together and do some good for dogs. So from the Canine Oasis, this is Jonathan. Hopefully in the next few episodes, we'll get like a jazzy little jingo or something that's fun to listen to. Our website should be up by the end of the week, thecanineoasis.com. We're also on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So if you go there, support us, and give us a follow, like the stuff you like, share the stuff you like, talk to me about the stuff you don't like, because I want to have conversations with people, and hopefully you become a great friend of us and we can do some good things together. So thanks. Take care.